Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2008 Dodge Magnum SRT-8. Now the standard Magnum started production in 2004, and it was sold from 2005 to 2008. It uses the Chrysler LX platform, which also shared the same platform as the Chrysler 300C and the Charger sedan. And this SRT-8 though was around from 2006 to 2008, with 2,970 being sold in its first year, but then production numbers dropped sharply, dropped more than 2,000 in the next year, and dropped by another 700 or so the year after that, mostly because of the financial crisis in 2008. So but this SRT-8 version comes with 20-inch wheels, firmer suspension, bigger brakes from Brembo, and it's got a revised front, rear and fascia, and a hood scoop to go along with it. So we don't get many estate cars on Forza games, to be honest, unfortunately, and we get even less from the likes of the US. I think the last estate / station wagon we ever got from the US was the Ford Town Cross what it's called, Town and Country. I can't remember Ford Country Squire. That's it, from the mid '60s, which was a pretty formidable and large vehicle, to be honest. But yeah, we've not really got many from the US that have this body shape, because it's not something that since the likes of the 80s has really been all that popular, because the minivan became a major sensation in the US in the late 80s and 90s and early 2000s, and then the SUVs pretty much took over where the minivans left off. So which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, still, this is pretty much the same as the Charger sedan in terms of interior. You've got the nice white on black dials, got the all of your cup holders, all of the usual space that you'd get in an American car. Rear rear leg room and all that is pretty much the same as well. So yeah, it's still nice and spacious, but where this obviously has the difference is in terms of the rear boot space, which is sizable, to say the least. Yes, it's not the biggest estate going in terms of rear storage, but it's definitely a lot bigger than the station the original sedan would be, and probably bigger than plenty of hatchbacks as well. So that's basically what you buy an estate car for, is the rear storage space. But yeah, still, it's got a nice look to it. I on the whole prefer the look of this to the Charger sedan. And yeah, you've also got twin exhausts there, and yeah, it just overall looks a lot better, to be honest, even though obviously at the front it's pretty much the same. But yeah, still shares the same big engine from the Charger, the 6.1 litre Hemi V8, which produces 425 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. Now granted, this is heavier than a Charger sedan, but not by much, and at the end of the day you get the added benefit of having more space inside your car to use on a day-to-day basis, which, like I said, you're going to use that a lot more than you are the outright power on this car. And yeah, rear wheel drive, and automatic gearbox, unfortunately, but that's just the way it goes with some American cars. So yeah, nonetheless, let's get out onto the open road and see what this car can do. So yeah, as per usual, we're going to take it down the drag strip, see how quick it can go before we hit the speed camera, and then we're going to hoon it around the track. So rear wheel drive, 5-speed auto. So yeah, it's not going to have the quickest of shifts, especially since an older automatic gearbox isn't going to be the best, and as you can see, it's got quite long gears as well. But it doesn't really restrict the power as much as you'd expect it to. And yeah, 123 miles an hour is not half bad at all for what is a car that weighs 4,379 pounds, and like I said, it does have that automatic gearbox. So yeah, it's still pretty rapid, although obviously it would be quicker if it didn't have that automatic gearbox, which usually is the thing that plagues a lot of American cars, to be honest, is their slushy automatic gearboxes. I mean, I'd be a bit more fine with it if it was a 6-speed and it had somewhat quicker gear ratios, but it's really rather quite lazy in that regard. But then again, it's an American car with a big lazy V8, so I guess that's to be expected. But yeah, still, let's get around the track and see what it's like to handle and drive generally. And we'll also give it a listen as well in terms of the engine, because Hemi V8s do on the whole sound pretty good. So yeah, let's look at the stats. So yeah, we're in high-end B class, which is pretty good. And yeah, as you can see, speed, acceleration and braking are pretty good. Handling is also on the high side as well, which is kind of, you know, unexpected given the amount of weight that this has got going for it. Launch could be better, but then again it is a rear-wheel drive, high-powered car, so that's to be expected. But on the whole, the stats are fairly solid, so yeah, this should be a good car to drive around the track, but also drive around on normal roads as well. So yeah, this is actually one of the few Dodges we actually got in the UK, although obviously we didn't have the any of the engines that are in this. I think we only had diesels in our versions, but still, let's take a look at this car and see what it sounds like, and yeah, then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, on the whole, it sounds pretty good. Basically like every other Chrysler from the kind of period that this is from, like the Charger and the Challenger, for instance. So yeah, on the whole, it succeeds in that regard, and yeah, on the whole, the handling is fairly good as well. Does feel like it wants to step out at times, being such a long car and only having rear-wheel drive. Although with the smaller engine versions of this, you could get all-wheel drive as well, but yeah, rear-wheel drive is where it's at for the most fun, and yeah, like I said, on the whole, it does hold its own in terms of grip and handling. It's just at times it does feel like it wants to step out, and it will hold the slide, but yeah, it's not something it's really wanting to do all of the time, or should be doing all the time, considering the amount of weight it's got going for it. So I imagine it'd be easy to lose control of this at the limit, but still. Acceleration is also good, 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds, 0 to 100 in 12.1 seconds, and it'll go into a top speed of 176 miles an hour, which is pretty damn good. So yeah, on the whole, I really do like this car. We've not had a mid to late 2000s American car for a long time on these Forza games. I do remember when we used to have the likes of the Chrysler 300C, the older version, and the likes of the Charger that this shares the same body with, outside of the rear end, and yeah, so yeah, it's nice to see on this. And you're probably wondering why it's finally been that this car has arrived on a Forza game. Well, because the two generations before this in the 80s that only lasted around a few years were only sold in Mexico under the Magnum name, so that's why. So yeah, just a little bit of trivia there for you, but still, really do enjoy this car. Really looking forward to seeing what else you can do with it, or upgrades, and how fast you can get it going in terms of straight line speed, or whether or not you can deal with any of the rough stuff. But yeah, as it goes, yeah, fun enough car, and a rarity in terms of the body shape from America. So yeah, it's part of the car pass. It's one of the last few cars that we're going to be having on this game, and yeah, it's a welcome one as far as I'm concerned, because like I said, never had many estate cars from America. Like I said, we only ever had the Country Squire before this. It's not like there's not been estate cars from America that are worthy of, having a look at. I'd love to see the AMC Eagle, for instance, at some point, but yeah, it's at least nice to see another one from America, and yeah, kind of bumps up the estates on this game overall. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.